This is SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. The National Medal of Honor Museum. Discover the National Medal of Honor Museum and witness real people, real stories, and real courage. All-Tech Lansing. Just listen with All-Tech Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton and Bobby Belt.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Cowboys Crosstalk live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. We are live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 Through the Fan. We've got Mickey Spagnola from DallasCowboys.com tonight. As always, we've got the three-time Super Bowl champ and six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton here.
Mr. Kiffin.
And our special Cowboys alumni this evening was a national champion at West Monroe High School in 1998.
Sir. Wow.
He broke onto the college football scene almost 25 years ago as the leader of LSU's James gang.
Wow.
Where he was also named an All-American for Nick Saban's Tigers. He was a fourth-round pick for the Cowboys in 2003. He would spend 9 seasons with the Cowboys, where he ranks as the team's third leading tackler. The man I'm talking about is former Cowboys linebacker Bradie James. Brady, thank you for being with us tonight, man.
Brady got some accolades.
I know, man. Third. I'm climbing up that list.
We've got to always do the we do the bio intro, and it's always the I think the longest list we've read so far is Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Smith is like, he was All-American on both sides of the ball in high school.
Yeah, but that was 1A, right?
Private school. That was private.
All right, well, Brady, we kind of just mentioned it there. Starting at West Monroe High School, curious, I was looking through some things, and obviously familiar with your time at LSU, familiar with your time with the Cowboys, but I saw that at West Monroe you played for an absolutely legendary coach there in Louisiana, Don Shows, and it's fascinating to me. Look at, there's an argument, it seems like, from people in the state of Louisiana that is the high school coach in the state of Louisiana. And then you played for Nick Saban, who is arguably like the coach in college football. And then you go to Bill Parcells, another legendary coach. What was that just, period of going from those coaches? And what did you feel like? All great coaches, it feels like, have some similar traits. What did you feel like was a similar running thread between the three of them as coaches?
That's a great question. I mean, I think for me, it was more, I think you may have to ask me if I'm a glutton for pain. I mean, because all those guys were different guys. And Don Shows, that's his.
Shows,
it's okay. Don Shows is arguably a legend, one of the best high school coaches in Louisiana history. Then I go to Nick Saban, but what people don't realize is my first year, I was recruited by Jerry DiNardo.
Yep.
And so my first year, everybody that sat in my living room, talked to my parents. 6 months later, they were all fired. And so we were like, and I'm from Louisiana, I couldn't believe it. I was the number one, ranked guy coming out. And next thing you know, the little guy comes in. You call him Nick Saban, but at that particular time, I called him the little tyrant because when he came in, we were like, where did he come from? See, I was recruited by Nick when he was at the
Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State. I went out there and I met with Plexico Burris. I think Plexico Burris was there. I got a chance to meet all these guys, and I hadn't talked to him in, I would say, 8 months after recruiting. And then all of a sudden, he comes in by himself because no other coach came with him. He came in by himself, and he told us that he was getting ready to change the course of LSU history, and he did it.
Yeah, absolutely, in a big way. Now, when you were, obviously Bill Parcells, very tough coach, and we'll get more into your Cowboys stuff as we go along, but when you finally get to Bill Parcells, everybody's like, man, he's one of the toughest coaches out there. Did you feel at all like, yeah, but man, I know Don Shows, he was pretty tough, or Nick Saban? Did you feel like you were prepped and ready for the experience when you got to camp in 2003?
Well, when I got to camp, I think Bill was he was way more than we anticipated. He was a lot. When it came down to just knowing him, and he always had something. But one of the things about Bill Parcells, he had a spot-on memory. He could remember every play, everything that multiple people would do at one time. And, coming from college, we would have to rely on the video camera to have a coach tell us all of that. I mean, outside of Nick, Bill Parcells was, I call him he's the godfather, and then you got the compos with Bill Belichick and then Nick Saban. I mean, those are the guys that's the tree that I come from.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously Saban comes from the Belichick tree, which Belichick up to Parcells, so some common threads there. But I want to talk a little bit about the LSU experience. So you did commit to Jerry DiNardo, like you said. Was that always Louisiana kid? Was that just always like an easy, I'm going to be going to LSU? Like, did schools understand, all right, he's probably going to LSU?
Nah, LSU was not my original pick. The great Peyton Manning left the state of Louisiana, and he went to a school outside of the great state of Louisiana. He went to Tennessee.
Right.
And so he went to Tennessee, and there was another guy from New Orleans, Louisiana. He played linebacker. His name was Ray Knott Thompson, and he went to Tennessee. So quite naturally, I was thinking maybe I'd go to Tennessee. Tennessee was my number one pick. They won the Peyton Manning did not win the national championship. T. Martin came in the next year, and he won the national championship. So I'm on my recruiting visit, and next thing I know, here comes Philip Fulmer, and he has his national championship trophy. And I'm kind of I'm already all in, and then he told me, you'd never find one of these in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And so that just kind of changed my whole trajectory.
Right.
And I couldn't believe, I didn't even know him. I was so taken aback that he would even compare, one trophy to the state that I was from.
Right.
That's the way I took it. And so, man, then my father got sick.
Wow.
So once my father got sick, I was like, I'm staying. I'm staying in the state. And at that particular time, we were not nationally recognized. And I started going on all my recruiting trips, and I was seeing the same guys on the recruiting trips. So I was like, guys, you guys are going the same place. We're going to all these trips. How about we all just go to the same place? Imagine if we all are ranked and we can go to the same place. Like, dude, we got to do it. And so I started recruiting, and I wasn't there, and so I hadn't stopped.
It's funny you mentioned Philip Fulmer showing you that national title and saying, you're never going to see one of these in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It had been, when you committed, I think it had been 10 or 11 years since LSU had won the SEC. So in 2001, when you guys get, I think, number one ranked Tennessee at the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you make sure after the game to say to Philip Fulmer after you guys upset him, did you say, hey, you're not going to find this SEC title trophy in Tennessee this year?
It meant so. It meant so much, and it was such an emotional game because they had so many number one first-round draft picks. They had Big Henderson, and they had all these guys. Jason Witt was on the team.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff. We were like, there's no way we get. And they had Travis Henry. It was. They were stacked.
Of a team.
They were stacked, and for us to go out and win the SEC championship in Nick's second year, we were on the trajectory of becoming a nationally recognized university.
It's something where you mentioned there your dad getting sick, and I know I remember that being a big story. I think I was 14 when you guys were going to winning the SEC title, and I remember it being a big story about your dad, and then not long after that, your mother also passed away. And I remember that was something that you really focused your charity on when you got to the NFL. Just talk about the support you received from LSU at the time and from Coach Saban and different people while you were going through that and how important it was to have that community relationship and be at home when that happened.
I'm thankful that I was from the state of Louisiana. However, LSU became my family. I just so happened to be around a coach majority of my time, but we didn't have a coach and player relationship because at the same time my father died, his dad died at around the same time, a year, same age, and he and I could connect on a different level. And so we would talk about life stuff and, when I had a family. And so when my mother passed, oh man, it was like you go from having, the richness of, influence and two-parent household, and then I didn't have anything. And so I'll never forget when I got back to Louisiana, to LSU, Nick Saban was one of the first guys to welcome me back on campus, and he was the first guy to like walk me in. So at that particular time, I didn't know what therapy was. It was nobody. I was a football player, but there was nobody that I could relate to. So this guy hooks me up, and I sit down with all these therapists, and then he took an interest. He took more of an interest, not just because I was a player, but as a student athlete, and that's what I think really sets the fabric of where we are, what we're missing in college ball today. Like I am the direct reflection of lost my parents. I needed structure. What else could I have done? I could have taken a different route, but I had structure around me, and not only that, I had some of the best people. If you listen, why not? And so
Yeah.
I would listen to the people that I had. I didn't, it was nobody to contradict, what they were giving me. I was just so thankful that they were able to, pour into me. And so, I learned a lot when it came down to charity. I'm not the NFL athlete that did charity just because.
Yeah.
Like I'm still giving today. I've lived longer without my mother and my parents than I did with them. And I'm still a young man. So what I try to do is just continue to, help their legacy and build on their legacy and just do the right things.
I like what you mentioned there about, what you think football's missing there, college football specifically, and I assume that's tied to also just the way it's become sort of professionalized, the way that college football has. Mickey, you've been around football for a number of years. Nate, you too. I'm just curious from all three of you, is there – at the college level with that sort of kind of becoming professionalized and now even in high school, I remember a high school coach told me last year, said middle schoolers are the last of the amateurs. And that was, that kind of resonates a little bit. But when you look at that, is there any sort of, not to get too deep on it, but is there any sort of losing the soul of football at that level or kind of losing the just innocence of the game a little bit with the college level changing the way it has?
You just used the word college about 3 times, and I'm not sure it's college anymore.
Yeah.
We're talking basically professional football. Guys don't have to stay wherever they go. They can hopscotch around. They're looking for money. Somebody just told me that, and I went to the University of Missouri, and somebody was just entering the transfer portal, and I said, didn't have enough money. I needed to donate more, right? And unfortunately, that's what it's come down to. And is anybody going to college, or are they just going to play football?
So you went to the University of Missouri. Do you know the term homecoming comes
Yes,
from the
do.
University of Missouri?
The longest running homecoming west of the Mississippi.
There you go.
He knew it too.
Yeah, see? Like, you got to know the other Tigers.
You got to know the other Tigers.
That's exactly what it is.
Got to stay on top of it.
Let's go. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're joined by Bradie James tonight. Let's talk a little bit about his first season here. I know one of the things I want to get into, because I remember it standing out, especially with Bradie as a rookie, the whole you don't get a star on your helmet as a rookie that Bill Parcells instituted in 2003, and just some of the moments that you had playing along in your career. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Go Cowboys! Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. Coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan. That is the radio flagship home of the Dallas Cowboys. Tonight we've got DallasCowboys.com's Mickey Spagnola here with us. Got the 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton here. And our Cowboys alumni this evening is none other than former Cowboys linebacker Bradie James. Bradie, thanks again for joining us. I want to talk about, I remember, and Mickey, you'll remember this, I'm sure, 2003, Bradie James gets here, 4th-round pick out of LSU. And there was a lot of talk in 03 about what Parcells linebackers were supposed to look like. And there was Dexter Coakley and Dat Wynn, who were the smaller linebackers and different things like that. But Bradie was definitely one of the bigger Parcells-type linebackers. And you could hear it early on when Bill would talk about you in press conferences or whatever, how much he admired the toughness and the size and the physicality and things like that. How long did it take for you before you felt like one of the famed, or if you ever did you ever feel like you were one of the Parcells guys, like people talk about?
I mean, this is all new to me. I mean, you talking about my rookie year. I didn't know what my name was. You think he called me by my name?
No, I don't.
No way.
Terrence Newman was giving him water.
I'll tell you. I mean, it's just what it was. I never forget, like, coming in, I was just I try to simplify as much as I could because coming from LSU and coming to the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, I know Coach was calling these plays, and I'm like, Coach, I get it. I get you calling the plays, but, I mean, I hadn't had that much experience, so I'm just going to go tackle a guy with the ball. Like, that's, what's
see ball,
wrong?
get ball.
Yeah, right? What's wrong with that? And then that's what I learned. Like, everybody has a job to do. If you don't do your job, you will get exploited at some point. Right. And the other people on the other side, they are watching you not doing your job. And so they will call a play when you're thinking that you are doing your job, and you'll look like you're not doing your job. So, yeah, I mean, as far as being a Bill Parcells guy, Bill Parcells was like one of the tough-nosed guys that he was just so tough. He was one of the guys as a rookie, if you could survive him and make it, I mean, I ended up playing 10 years in the NFL. I mean, he's either going to break you or make you.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first interaction with him when you got here?
I do. So we were talking about me in school. There was a rule because I still was in school when I got drafted, and because I was still in amateur sports and I was still in school getting my degree, I could not report when everybody else reported. I had to get my diploma. So once I graduated, I missed both of the rookie mini camps because your new coach, you had more mini camps. So I missed those, and the first time that I I graduated, and I got on the road, drove to Valley Ranch. Get to Valley Ranch, about 4 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't met any coaches, anybody. I go in the weight room, and I'm thinking, let me just at least warm up and do some stuff.
At that time in the morning?
Yeah, it was about 5 o'clock. I had been on the road the whole time. I had nowhere else to go, and then I get to Dallas in Valley Ranch, all I saw was one Cowboys Parkway.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that was, but I put it in the map. Then we had the maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just followed it
You had
on.
the map quest.
Yeah, I had the map quest. I followed it on in, and then I get to Valley Ranch. Never been to Valley Ranch, but the lights were on, and the only place the light was on was in the weight room. And so I walked back to the weight room, and I see all these, weights and all this stuff, and nobody was in there, right? And then I end up hearing, like, some noise, and so I saw some guy in there on the squat rack, and he had this weight on the bar. So he gets on the weight and, goes down a couple times. I'm like, man, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, he in here working out. So I was like, well, it didn't look like it was a lot. It was about 405 pounds. And squatting, that's a lot of pounds, but really if you can squat, it's all right.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. This is a professional athlete in here. I guess I'm a professional athlete now.
Right.
So then he gets on the bench, and that's when my whole world changed. He gets on his bench, and all these coaches come out. That's when I met Joe Jurassic, Tony Olson,
Right.
Lance Walker.
Right.
All these coaches just come out of nowhere, and they didn't come in to say anything to me. They just went over here on this bench. And so they go over there on the bench, and the guy that was lifting weights was the great Larry Allen. And it was the first time I met anybody
Right.
from the organization. It was in the weight room. And then about 8 o'clock, I meet the great Bill Parcells, you know. So, but I had already had an experience. So by the time I saw him, I was underwhelmed.
Larry Allen bench pressing, usually anything else looks underwhelming.
Yeah.
After
Well, I
seeing Larry
remember
bench.
I remember DeMarcus Ware telling the story when he first got there, and he saw Larry Allen, and he saw how Larry Allen was practicing, and he's going, "Oh, I'm not going to make it in the NFL if I got to play against guys like this."
Absolutely. Guys, I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys remember this. We had an indoor facility in Valley Ranch, and it blew down.
Yeah.
Right.
The wind blew it down. But before it blew down, Larry Allen was out there with a medicine ball, just throwing it up against the wall. Just
That's probably why it went down.
yeah. Well, he ended up putting a dent in the building. You know, it was badly wrapped. I mean, it was just the fact that we had to go against a guy like that. Now,
Yeah.
my generation, like, see, he was a part of the Nate Newton,
Right.
you know, group.
Right.
You know, like for us, it wasn't that many more of those guys out there.
Right.
You know, and so to see that and to see that superhuman, like, strength, it was an eye opener.
Nate,
Your rookie year, how long did it take you to just get accustomed to the practices and your routine? What do it? 3 games in, 5?
It took me, I think, week 12
Yeah.
to get like all the way in because it was just so many moving parts, so many moving pieces, and then too, I was playing special teams, and so it was hard because I couldn't beat out those little guys. I couldn't beat out Dexter Coakley. I couldn't beat out that win. I mean,
Right.
those boys was fierce when I got in there. They
Yeah.
knew that it was a battle, and
Right.
so I just couldn't beat them out. So if you're not playing, you got to play special teams. And so I think week 12 is when I had caused a turnover or something like that around Thanksgiving on special teams. That was the game I figured it out.
Yeah.
I found out that I was like, I really could play in this league.
Right.
You know, on the
Wow.
special teams play.
Who was the linebackers coach when you got there? Do you remember?
Linebackers coach, Mike Zim was our defensive coordinator.
Would that have been Gary Gibbs? Yeah.
Gary Gibbs. And I had Gary Gibbs at LSU.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
my sophomore year, I think.
That 2003 season was so unique because obviously Bill Parcells comes in and there was a lot of energy surrounding that to begin with. But it started really week 2. You guys go to New York. You beat the Giants in a crazy game. That's the Billy Cundiff makes 7 field goals.
Yeah.
Looked like y'all had lost.
Cundiff.
Matt Bryant kicks it out of bounds.
Wow.
Y'all get up and are able to send it to overtime. But then you guys start the season, I think it was 5-1. And you guys were, I believe, were they the number 1 ranked defense that year? I think in yards. You guys were the number 1 ranked defense in 2003. End up getting to the playoffs, kind of surprising everybody. Did you know any better as a rookie when you were observing all this, or did you get a sense of like, oh, this is kind of a different thing we got going on here? We're kind of doing some unexpected things right now.
Well, it was unique by the attention you would get from the older players, like the former players. I didn't realize I knew we had a historic kind of traditional. I mean, a tradition here for the Cowboys, but I didn't realize how many guys we had. And so as a rookie, I mean, you starstruck,
Right.
you learn not to be starstruck on the field.
Right.
But the guys that were coming in, you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I'll be honest with you, as a rookie coming from college to that, man, you are dog tired about week 13 because in college, especially at that particular time, we probably played 10 games.
Yeah.
We didn't have as many games, and then you'd go all the way. So by the time you get to December, that was bowl time. So you were off, in college. You had to finish your final, and you got a couple weeks, and you just practice it. Not in the NFL. In the NFL, in December, every game was so much more important. Like, every game was more important, and it was like, wow. So it was, just coming in as a rookie. But it also taught us, you talk about being the number 1 defense, it really set the tone for what it takes to be, like, I would say good. You know, you think that you can go out there and just stop people, but you know, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, no, that's something this current Cowboys team has been learning. You know, you mentioned you learn not to be starstruck by it. Do you remember the first time that you were on the field and you were a little like, all right, keep it together? Do you remember who you would have seen that you're like, all right, that dude's pretty famous over there?
I mean, again, I played for the Cowboys,
so any of that,
yeah,
anybody coming through?
I mean, first time I saw Tony Dorsett, I was like, whoa, like this guy really is here. You know, it was so many. It was just so many different guys. It was awesome. It was awesome. But I can remember like playing my rookie year, and it was a moment. It was a moment where it was like you can't be starstruck. I never forget it. We're playing the Miami Dolphins. That was when Ricky Williams was the running back, and I finally got to play. So I'm playing defense, and Roy Williams. Safety Roy Williams, he and we had this one play, and it was a blitz. So I was like, of course, I am going full tilt if they called this play. So they called the play. It was my play. I go in, and Roy beat me to the hole. So I was like, okay. But what ended up happening was he came back in the hole. Right. And that's not what you're supposed to do. And then not only was he coming back, Ricky Williams was coming with him, and they were coming toward me. Wow. And I'm supposed to stop only one guy, but it's two of them coming back, and I just kind of closed my eyes, and I think I missed. Right. but I tripped him, and yeah, he didn't go as far as we thought he could.
Wow. So you said you played special teams. When's the last time you had played? I'm guessing at LSU you didn't play special teams once you got to be a starter.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play special team. I played on the kickoff team my senior year in high school.
Very good.
that was the last time.
Yeah, that was the only time. I played on the punt team. I played on the punt team in college, but special teams, I didn't play special teams.
Was Avazano still the special teams coach?
No, we had Bruce DeHaven.
He moved on.
Yeah, he moved on.
Came
yeah,
in.
we had Bruce
That's
DeHaven.
right.
When you talk about that early on, you know, you didn't know what you were looking at necessarily. You're just see ball, get ball. Was there a little bit of a freeing aspect of getting able to play special teams and like, let's get down the field, like let's just go make a play? Was there something freeing about that for you?
It was, but you know, I played when they had the big wedge. Like we didn't this stuff that you see now is different. So when I played, they had the meanest backup defensive end in this 4-man wedge. It was 4 guys. The meanest backup defensive end. The guy that the offensive tackle, he was supposed to play, but he didn't. He wasn't playing, so he mad. You got the backup center that's on the wedge, and somebody else that's bigger than you. Yeah,
that was me. I played on the wedge. Yeah.
Did you ever spring a touchdown?
Oh, we had us a couple of bad boys, man. Yeah. I was that guy, man.
You was that guy. Yeah.
But what hurt me though, Brady, even when I went to starting at the guard position, we were so good as a return team. Joe wasn't going to break it up, man. He
had to stay out there.
I almost blew a knee out against Houston when they were Houston.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when Coach Johnson said, that's enough, you know.
Wow. And
back then, you know, if you could help the team win, you had to play.
Yeah.
Joe would not take Darren Woodson off special teams.
No, because he helped them win.
Yeah.
Didn't matter how many years he played, and every year it's like, yeah, probably not. And Woody was always out on the kickoff coverage.
Man, Woody was one of the best teammates I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, as far as leadership and, like, a young guy and somebody to look up to. Like, if I've ever was able to pass the torch, I hope I was able to pass the torch on to like he did for a few of us.
So you would vote for him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I mean, if my vote counted, it'd be 10x.
Don't get Nate started on that. Nate's Cowboys lost Sunday. Nate doesn't need to be in any more of a bad mood. If you get him started on Darren Woodson, Nate'll.
That would be both of us.
Exactly. No, hopefully they get that wrong righted very soon. Let's go ahead and let's take our second break. When we come back, we've already heard a lot from Bradie James about the things that he learned and what he found out playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with this current Cowboys team and maybe some of the things that Bradie would recommend that they could do to fix some of these defensive problems that they've got. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club, the Star in Frisco, for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. Coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Bobby Bell from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, the radio flagship home of your Dallas Cowboys. Tonight we've got DallasCowboys.com's and unofficial Jack Black spokesman, Mickey Spagnola. Big fan of it, I know. He's mentioned that before. He's a big fan of it. We've also got the 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton, and our special Cowboys alumni this evening is former Cowboys linebacker Bradie James. So, Bradie, and we'll get to some specifics about the Cowboys and what happened with the Vikings the other day and a bad loss for the Cowboys. But, you know, you've talked a lot about responsibilities. And on defense, when you have responsibilities and how it can just destroy a defense if you're not doing your job and how everybody's got this role and different things like that, that has been a common discussion point for the Cowboys this season. It's gotten a little better as things have gone on. You haven't had as many communication issues or guys trying to freelance or different things like that. But just try to, I guess, explain or break down for people listening at home how just small the margins are of if you're not doing your job, if you're not in the right place. Just how, you know, a quarterback will tell you, you're in practice and it's a 12-yard in. It's like, come back, you ran 12 and a half. That needs to be 12. Talk about that precision and how important it is to do everything to a T.
I think I wouldn't even go into our issues. You know, one of the things about me is I had the fortunate and unfortunate responsibility of being the signal caller. So I had the green dot. And when I look at this team, you can just see certain, I would say, body language and behaviors. So not knowing whatever the call is, as a person that have had to look in front of people, right? It's been times where I've had to call a call and you got 20 eyes looking back at you and you call that call and 4 eyes roll, you got to go into intervention. Like you got and you got 15 seconds before they even snap the ball. So it's an intervention because you got to get that guy back on track. And I'm the one that sees it, right? So I know he may not. I mean, it may be some insubordination if you rolling your eyes on the call, you know, and you can see that. So I think for me, as I see certain guys play, there's been a lot of I would say schematical errors that have happened. And I also think too, it's just not it's not a perfect storm. It's just a bad storm, and we can't get out of the storm. And I'd like for us to get out of the storm. It's almost baffling to have the perception like these guys don't want to play. Like if you are a professional athlete and you're playing for the Dallas Cowboys, you want to win. You want to win. You don't go out there and say, hey, I'm getting ready to go out here and mess this play up on purpose. So one of the things is you start asking like, okay, everybody has to have buy-in. If we're talking about this defense, everybody has to have buy-in for us to somewhat be successful, right? Not only do you have to have buy-in, everybody has to do their job, and everybody has to know that the other guy's going to do his job. So there's a play that came out, and people have been sending. I'm on social media.
I know
Bradie
exactly
James.
which one you're going to say.
Yeah, man. So I keep looking at this play, and it's one of the linebackers, and he just takes off, right? He takes off, and the guy kind of cups back, and they score. Well, you have to be careful when you're looking at something like that because a lot of fans don't know what the play call is, right? So you got to know kind of like somewhat what the play call is. However, the defender has a responsibility of stopping the guy that's coming, that has the ball. Now, again, once you do your job, you got to go stop on defense is very simple. Stop the guy with the ball. Well, when you have some guys doing one thing, you have another guy doing a different thing. So you had another guy that's on that defensive line, and he kind of just went hero ball. He annihilated his guy in front of him, but that wasn't his job.
Right.
Your job is not to just go play one-on-one ball. Yeah, something may have happened, but again, I don't know what the play call is, but I guarantee you that the person that was circled that everybody's looking at, that's not his fault.
Well,
it wasn't his fault.
And Monday, Brian Schottenheimer told reporters that was not on Kenneth Murray, the linebacker. Like you say, same sort of thing. He said it's really easy for people to think that that's not what it is. That's his gap that he's supposed to go stand there. Yeah. And ultimately, the defensive tackle, who was Kenny Clark there, I believe, that's not where he was supposed to be. And a lot of times that's the sort of thing that's really hard to pick up. Nate, you've talked about this before. You've started to get a real passion, I feel like, in the last year, especially just like, I want to help people understand like what this is really about and those intricacies. And we saw some of those intricacies backfiring on them on Sunday with the offensive line and trying to read those zero blitzes. Shotty talked a lot about Harrison Smith and how good he was at being up at the line of scrimmage, not getting baited by the cadence, and then waiting to the last second to bail out and change what they were looking at. Talk to us about how difficult that is for the offensive line when you're looking at 8 guys on the line of scrimmage and you got to go, all right, who's coming, who's dropping back?
And this offensive line has not – I don't think this offensive line has had 4 straight games where you can say 5 guys played, not even 4. Our tackles have been constant.
Yeah.
The first 8 games, we missed our right guard at one point, our left guard at one point, our center at one point, and then sometime all of them together.
Yeah.
So this offensive line has not had time to gel and become truly effective. And when you go up against the guy we just played against, the defensive coordinator, what is his
Brian
name?
Flores.
When you go up against him, you know what that is, man. You know what that is. That's a mind game all game long. It's 2 guys in the league, Spagnuolo for Kansas City and Flores for this.
My cousin, right?
Yeah, these people, that's what they do. They mass confusion. And you bringing in the 3rd and 4th team linemen trying to get, that wasn't going to work. And I'm not going to blast them. Yeah. I'm not going to blast, but I am going to ask them when we go to training camp next year, come on, coach, let's play some of these dudes in the preseason.
Yeah,
where they can get, so they can gel a little bit.
I'm with you on that because I think there's a misconception when a lot of times in preseason you would see like you want the starters to go in. Like, hey, let's watch the start. The game of football is about injuries. It is a game of injuries, and so you got to get that next man some reps. You can't just throw him in the fire because on the other side, those guys get paid too. And we know if that guy's a 3rd string, anything.
Yeah.
And I can't get beat by a 3rd string anything. Like I'm coming after him.
Right.
And that's just the mentality. It's just the way it goes. It's not even a matter of X's and O's at that particular time. It's just a matter of will.
Right.
And so we've run into a few of those.
And do you realize in the 4th quarter they had the 3rd string offensive tackle in there?
Yeah. And
it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't. But the thing is, this you have another year, coming up. This year going to get over. It's going to eventually get over. And then how do you start your OTAs? Do guys take it serious enough that they stay around the building and do their thing? Because in this new world, when I came in, you had to stay around. I don't know how strict Bill was with y'all about making sure you get together, do some things off the field because you can't have the coaches there. So you got to find some guys that's going to lead you in the right direction. I don't know who those guys are. I don't try not to comment.
Yeah. You don't want to point anybody. I think Shotty is the right guy to create the culture. Like, that's one of the things I've been very impressed with him.
Yeah.
Especially as a former. I have no skin in the game.
Right.
And 2, I can tell when somebody's being phony or not.
Right.
And he's authentic and he's able to articulate. Those guys go out and they play for him.
Yes, they do.
Now we're talking about him. So now we got to start talking about this succession plan because we've been having some issues defensively. Like, so one of the issues is who is next. Like, we don't need to pile up on the coordinator. We know who's next.
Yeah.
Right.
What does that look like? Because if we had more of a succession plan, he would have been gone. You got to think about who's the most tenured defensive coach right now on the staff. Right now.
Right now, I think they changed everybody over pretty much.
The whole staff's changed.
Yeah. So your whole staff, you get rid of one guy, you still got the staff. He may not be calling the play. You just want to put in a placeholder?
Yeah.
I mean, is that what we want to do?
Yeah, that's what I
mean,
asked
it's still the
Yeah.
same scheme.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna change. And so I think that's just the reality of where we are.
Now, whenever there was a lot of talk about after the Vikings game, there were a lot of fans who had said stuff like, man, if we could run a scheme like that, we should be doing things like that. And there's been a lot of discussion about that. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, I want to touch on this point with both of you guys. The idea of why you might want to look a little more static if you're already having some communication issues and not try to rotate guys around at the last second of the snap. We're going to talk about that. We got Bradie James here with us, and that'll be next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Ultimately.
Go Cowboys! Go Cowboys! Go Cowboys! Go Cowboys!
Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk, live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Back for our final segment here. We got Mickey Spagnola from from DallasCowboys.com.
Yes,
I'm
we
Bob Bell
do.
from 105 through the Fan.
What are you laughing about?
No, I'll tell you off there. I'll tell you off there.
If Nate says he's going to tell you off the air, definitely tell it off the air. I'm Bobby Belch from 105 through the Fan. Mickey Spagnola here from DallasCowboys.com. 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler, and keeper of secrets, Nate Newton. And then our Cowboys alumni this evening is none other than former Cowboys linebacker Bradie James. So we just talked about it heading into the break a little bit, but I'm curious from both of y'all's perspectives as players, the idea of why it can't just be as simple, especially if you've had some assignment busts and things like that, why it can't just be as simple as, well, just blitz everybody. Or like, just try to disguise everything or do this or that. I mean, I think Zim last year early on tried to do a bunch of different disguising and some of his creeper pressures and his sims and different things like that. And he realized like halfway through, he's like, all right, we got to change some stuff up here. So explain why that can't be as simple as just, well, just blitz or just do this or disguise it. Don't let everybody know exactly what you're doing.
Well, I mean,
From
those
the
guys.
defensive
Yeah,
standpoint,
on the defensive side, I mean, you have to have some kind of base defense. Like if you don't have a base defense, you can't get exotic. Your exotic defense can't be your base defense. I mean,
Right.
you don't drive your Lambo every day. You know,
Right.
it's not your everyday car.
Right.
So I think when fans may want that, you want to put pressure on someone. Well, you got to understand, like, you want more points scored on you or you want less points scored on you, because the points are getting scored.
Yeah.
It's just how you want to take it. And so that's just where we are schematically, and that's why you have to have the right personnel with the scheme to help you.
Nate, I know it was similar kind of question on the other side. There's a lot of talk, obviously, about motion, and that became a big thing of just a couple years ago with Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Everybody just saying, like, ooh, we want everybody to run motion 100% of the time and do different things. And I remember Aaron Rodgers got asked about this. They were like, why don't you use a lot of motion? Why don't you like it? And he's like, I just want to look at it. I want to look at it and know what I'm looking at. I don't want a whole bunch of stuff moving around. And obviously as a West Coast guy, timing, precision, if we're just on our steps, then we execute, it's not as much of a problem. Obviously, it can be difficult for fans to take sometimes when they think, well, just beat the guy in front of you. Why not try to get an advantage? Why, similarly from the offensive side, is it better to sometimes just have it in front of you and execute?
It's called intelligence. If you have those type guys that can go in motion, because you run in a slant, you may motion across, and they give you a different coverage.
Yeah.
Now you ain't running a slant no more. You might have to take off and run a 9 route.
Yeah.
So you got to be smart. And more importantly, I told this to my wife, I think, today, whether it's a offensive play, a run play or a pass play, you got to still go talk to the offensive line coach, because he the one got to block this up and protect all of this. So you got 5 guys you better have ready to protect all this. All of that comes into play of running it. And because you got to remember, we played Detroit, we blitzed them early and we were stopping them. They did one thing and messed us up the rest of the game. They took number 0.
Leaked him out.
And just put him out of the slot, threw him out there, and said, come get me. Now everybody else fell into place, and they found a rhythm.
And he ran right behind the blitz.
So my thing is, have some intelligence about you. If your team can digest what y'all want, if y'all want the Andy Reid, the Ben Johnson, you got to have those type players.
Yeah.
That's going to absorb all of this. And more importantly, this game is still won with players.
Yeah.
And if you're blitzing, the guys better know how to blitz. Just because you blitz doesn't mean you're getting there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if that blitz is the answer to everything, why did the Vikings come in here at 5-8?
Yeah.
All right?
Well,
so there's got to be a reason, right?
A lot of times the star blinds us. I came here when we were bad, Brady. We were terrible.
Well, Brady came in when they had been bad.
Yeah, but we were not fooled by the star because the coach wasn't going to let us be. And a lot of times we value some of our players, because when we find out, okay, wow, he's really not a cover guy. This guy really not this type of guy. Then you go the opposite way. You know how media, they go totally, they overkill.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these guys got to get through this season. If they find another defensive coordinator, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Because this thing ain't going to change overnight. This is going to be a build.
Brady, you had mentioned, you talked about communication and stuff like that. It's probably not realistic to say you have 11 great communicators on the field at all times. Like, different guys are good at different things, but maybe it's not like the easiest thing to just say, 11 of the best mental processors and communicators. Leighton Vander Esch told us a couple weeks ago, he was like, just if I know what I'm doing, I can at least help a couple other guys, or I can just say, hey, do this, and like I can kind of orchestrate. So for a defense, if you're saying, as somebody who's played that position, somebody who's worn the green dot, do you need 11 good communicators at all times? Or are you saying, like, I need at least 2 guys on each level of the defense? How are you looking at, like, solving that problem if you have communication issues?
I really don't think you need multiple communicators. I think you got to have all buy-in. If you got one, it go back to the Indian and the Chiefs. You know, somebody. I mean, if we're all wrong and we wrong together, we got a better chance than 2 guys being wrong and 10 guys being right. I mean, the man. 9 guys. So, with that being said, I think you don't need to. It's really the buy-in from the players. Like when they have been getting these calls. Let me tell you something. They have been out here trying to execute these calls. They have.
Right.
They have been trying to do it, and we've seen the result. And so at some point, I mean, is it working? Like we are human, you know, and that's why I was saying, like, being a signal caller, you get a chance to see everybody. You see everybody's responses. And so there are certain things that I pick up, even watching it on TV. I'm like, yeah, he's going to make a mistake on this one. You know, I don't even know what the call is.
Oh, man. You remind me, that's what Isaiah stand back. He be like, y'all can see it, man. He can see it.
Yeah.
Like Isaiah can see it. Isaiah said, he got to go here. If he throw over here, it's going to be a hard throw. Incompletion.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, dog. How you saw that?
Yeah.
Well, just like I saw this dude step inside, and that one step cost us a sack.
Yeah,
So
it's just the attention to detail, and those parts of it are too. I mean, guys, these are NFL players, and they have played a lot of ball and all that, and X's and O's, and it's about pride and the name on the on the back of your jersey now.
Yes.
You know,
both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them. Your name and the Cowboys.
Man.
Yeah.
Datwin was standing next to me in training camp one year. He was doing radio in San Antonio, right? And we're watching practice, and he turns to me and he goes, all right, this is what the play's going to be. And I go, what do you mean? He recognized what they were doing, and he'd been out of the game for 10 years, and he knew.
But he was a green like you.
Yeah, he taught me.
He ain't green for no reason now. He wasn't green for no reason.
There you go. There's the solution. We just get a bunch of Bradie James and a bunch of Dat wins, and the defense will be fixed. Bradie James, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Great,
fantastic stuff. Thank you to Nate Newton, Mickey Spagnola. I'm Bobby Belt. Cowboys Chargers this Sunday. We'll talk to you next week on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Secrets.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?